I'm going to have some shine pretty soon, too, I think.
At 6 o'clock, this meeting is called to order. Would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The order of business is, as always, to review and approve minutes from previous meetings, starting with our work session on August 12, 2013.
I move to approve the minutes of the August 12 work session.
I'll second it.
It's been moved by Mike, seconded by Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstaining? Next, we have, those minutes are approved. Moving on to the August 12 regular select board meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Dick, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. And,
That's true.
thank you. And finally, we have the August 12, 2013 non-public meeting minutes.
I move that we approve those minutes.
Second.
Been moved by Neil and seconded by Mike.
Just one correction in the second line of the last section regarding the Boyle property. I think it should be explained the sequence of events, not
Yes,
why.
there is a misspelling. Thank you. So, with the spelling correction that Dick added, all those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain? Minutes are approved. Announcements. The Select Board will meet on the following dates. Regular meetings at 6 p.m. on Monday, September 9th, with the second public hearing at 6:30 on that date regarding the purchase of the property at 46 Highland Street, and September 23rd, 2013, for a regular meeting. Work review sessions prior to the regular meeting will start at 5 p.m. There will be a special town meeting at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 25th. That will be at the elementary school. All of the meetings except the special town meeting will be in the town hall. We have a program coming up this Wednesday, August 28th at 3 p.m. It's the 50th anniversary commemoration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, Let Freedom Ring. And at 3 p.m. Wednesday, the bells at the Plymouth Congregational Church, the Episcopal Church of the Holy Spirit, Plymouth Town Hall, and PSU's Rounds Hall will ring in recognition of this commemoration. There will also be a brief program on the Plymouth Town Common after the bell ringing, to which everyone is invited and asked if they can do so to please bring your children. This is an inclusive event. You can find additional information about this on the town's website. Weather observations for the month of July are available in the town hall. Citizens wishing to be listed on the Select Board agenda should notify the town hall before 12 p.m. on the Friday before the scheduled meeting. Town offices will be closed on Monday, September 2nd, 2013, in observance of Labor Day. So, moving on to the regular agenda, the first item is under updates and recommendations. Eileen, Towne, Primex Cap.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So we have been given the opportunity to participate in what Primex is our workers' compensation insurance carrier, and they've given us the opportunity to participate in what they term their contribution assurance program, or CAP. This CAP, basically, it serves as an acronym for what it really is, which is a cap on the percentage increase that we could see in our workers' compensation premiums over the next 2 calendar years. Our policy comes up for renewal in January of 2015, well, actually 2016. Our contract goes through December of 2015. So the premium increases for 2014 and 2015 would be limited to 8% under this program. There's no additional cost for the program, and there's no requirement at this stage that we extend our contract. Currently, the town has a multi-year discount agreement with Primex, which extends through December 2015 also. And this particular, the multi-year discount program that we currently participate in gives the town a guaranteed 7.5% discount on our premium, and that is a discount against the premium that they've determined that we would be charged for any given year. And from that, they then discount us 7.5%, and this was in exchange for us signing a 3-year contract with them for their services. This discount is being phased out, but at this point, it would not be affected by our accepting the CAP program. So basically, at this moment, if we took the CAP program, we would have both the CAP program and the multi-year discount. In December 2015, when the multi-year discount expires, Primex will no longer be offering that multi-year discount, so that 7.5% discount would go away. And we would, at that point, most likely be offered to extend or continue this CAP program, and at that point, there would be a requirement that we would extend our contract with Primex. But we don't have to make that decision until December of 2015, January 2016. So at this point, I can't see any downside to our accepting this provision, this contribution assurance program, as they're calling it. I don't see a downside to it. There's no cost. There's no extension to our contract. It would run concurrently with the multi-year discount through December 2015, which basically means that we would have both a 7.5% discount on that year's premium and an 8% cap relative to the previous year's premium.
So it gives us a benefit on
right.
top of a benefit.
Right, and you can see, you all got a memo regarding this, and if you look at the bottom of it, you can see our last 4 years of premium experience with Primex. In 2 of those years, in 2011 and in 2013, had we had the cap, it would have benefited us, because in those years we had a 10% increase over the previous year's premium. And in 2013, we had a 16% increase over the previous year's premium. So that 8% cap would have kicked in at that point and saved us.
And those percentages are after the 7.5%
That's right.
discount?
That's after the 7.5% discount, correct.
Wow.
So, you know, and the other years, that we had a decrease one year, and we had only a 1% increase in 2010. Those years would have been basically unaffected by the cap, because it's not a guaranteed rate, it's a cap. So if we came in below it, we would still have gotten that lower rate. So, but it would have benefited us in 2 out of those 4 years if we had had it, so.
Well, actually, it would have in 2012 too, because, oh, those
That's a
decreased.
negative.
Negative,
Yeah,
right.
that's a decrease in premium that year. So, basically, I'm recommending to the board, and I've discussed this with Paul, that you go ahead and sign for this, because I can't see any reason not to.
Anybody have any questions for? All right, in that case, I would request a motion to approve this contract with Primex for the contribution assistance assurance program.
I move that we accept the addendum to the multi-year discount program agreement that they have provided to us, as summarized by Ms. Towne.
Second.
It's been moved by Mike and seconded by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 It is approved. Thank you very much, Missy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to correspondence. We have a letter from Plymouth State University regarding street closures on September 2, 2013. And I will go ahead and read that. This is to the Select Board. On Monday, September 2, 2013, the Plymouth State University students will be returning for the start of the 2013-2014 academic years. The scheduled on-campus move-in day will be Labor Day, September 2. As in the past, we will be initiating our move-in plan that shall expedite the move-in traffic flow and minimize the impact on the town. We will have a full complement of officers assigned to various posts and assignments to accomplish this task. We would request the assistance of permitting High Street to be closed to eastbound traffic from Langdon Street to Main Street between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. This will allow for 2 lanes of traffic on that street to access residential halls in that area. The University Police will position signage, staff, and monitor traffic during this closure. And they included a map showing traffic flow that has in the past proved to be very effective. This information is also available on their website, which is www.plymouth.edu/office/residential-life/move-in 2013. And we will post that website on the town's website so that if anybody would like to look at the map, they can get to it. Should you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me, and this is signed by Lieutenant Pete Cherichetti. Chief Lefebvre, would you care to comment on that request?
Well, all I can say is their current pattern that they've worked out now and like last year went on works incredibly well. They've done a great job with it. The closure that they're asking for is a great idea, and I would say go ahead and approve it. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you. On that note, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So the motion is to close High Street to eastbound traffic between Langdon Street and Main Street from 8 to 5 on Tuesday, September 2.
Isn't that Monday?
Isn't that the...
Monday,
Yeah.
September 2. I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion is approved. So, next, we have a letter from Chief Clogston regarding the retirement of Captain Jack Olmsted. This is also to the Select Board. It is with regret that I deliver to you the retirement announcement of Captain John P. Olmsted, Jr., effective September 1, 2013. Captain Olmsted has been a full-time employee with the town since February 7, 1987, and serving full-time with the fire department since February 14, 1989. I request the board join me in wishing Captain Olmsted health, happiness, and prosperity in his retirement. I also request the board allow me to begin the process to replace Captain Olmsted as a full-time employee. This retirement not only leaves an opening for a line position, but also for a full-time officer. I further request that the board authorize me to start an assessment to select and promote an officer to replace Captain Olmsted. In closing, I wish to thank the board for their consideration in these requests, and should you have any questions, please contact me at your convenience. Does anyone have questions for Chief Clogston, who is here in the room? I will go ahead and just read an excerpt from Captain Olmsted's retirement letter, and then we will move on to discussion of the replacement process. His letter is also addressed to multiple individuals, including members of the department. Please accept this letter as notice of my intent to retire as captain of the Plymouth Fire Department. My retirement will be effective September 1, 2013. Captain Olmsted goes on to provide a brief history of his service with the fire department, which I am not going to read in this meeting, but he closes in saying, "It has truly been an honor to work with the men and women of this department and to proudly serve the citizens and visitors to the town of Plymouth. While my activity and role with the department will change, I do intend to continue serving the department as a call member of the Plymouth Fire Department. So our next step is to vote to accept his letter of intent to retire. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Bill and seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Captain Olmsted's retirement request is approved. And then moving on to the discussion, does anyone have any concerns about having Casino move forward with his personnel issues?
No.
No vote necessary on that, I don't believe, so you are set to move forward with all of that, Chief? Okay. Next on the agenda, under approved purchase orders, Chief Clogston, we have a purchase order for Motorola Solutions, Inc.
Yes, this is one of several purchase orders you will see. It has to do with the new command vehicle that we got the grant, that they're going to purchase half it.
That's great.
By us buying the radios directly from Motorola, we're actually able to save some money on that. And Bosby Mountain filled us in and walked us through the process to be able to save, I believe, right around $500 in the sale of those radios. So if we purchase them now and then have them shipped to Osby Mountain, they'll have them when the vehicle actually comes in. So,
Is that also under the grant?
yes, this is all part of the grant.
Okay.
What are these exactly?
Those are radios that go in the car, one in the front and then two in the back, so that when we're running an operation, I can talk to fire units plus police units or anybody else that may be coming in there.
Excellent.
I move to approve this purchase order for the radios
The amount,
in the amount of $6,482.14.
Second.
it's been moved by Mike and seconded by Neil. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Purchase order is approved.
Also, I have some information on that vehicle itself.
Okay.
I just found out today and I talked to Paul about it.
First, I'd like to mention that the reason why you already approved all of this in its entirety. We brought back from Homeland Security was here,
Right.
because casinos found that even additional ways of saving money. That's why, because we're breaking down the purchase orders, we want to take a chance and not have it in the minutes and recorded. The rest of them will probably just put in your signature folders, because you've already have approved it.
Okay.
So,
With
so the GNC request accommodated all the expenditures that...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a total cost.
Right. But
And the day that Paul Hatch and Homeland Security was here to cover these costs, you voted on already. But we're using a little bit different method in acquiring it. It does save some more money, so we didn't want to take a chance and make that purchase order separate. And then Casino came up with another opportunity today, I don't know what.
Talking with the Irwin Ford, who got the state bid, when this was all started a while ago, they were talking about the 2013 vehicles. The state bid for the 2014 vehicles is going to go up in September and will be awarded in November. So the salesman said, right now, the vehicle is looking like $1,000 more because they haven't settled on a price. He said, so if you can wait, the price is definitely either going to remain the same or go down. It's not going to go up. But if you buy it now, if you buy the 2014 now, this is the price that they're going to go with because they haven't settled it. So to potentially come in at the same level, which if we bought it now would be $1,000 more, or wait until November when they finally get the figures through the state bid process, we stand a chance of possibly saving even more money. So I think it's advantageous for us to wait that couple extra months. Gives me some time to track down some other lighting packages to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck.
We met today, we thought we'd waited this long to wait another month and more possible savings. If anything else, we break out even, and he gets a vehicle that's one year newer.
1 year newer,
As far as
exactly.
date goes.
Right?
Makes sense to me.
Sounds good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and since we have about 10 minutes before we start our public hearing, I would ask that we move around it and go directly to committee reports. So Neil, have you any?
Well, the planning board hasn't met, but I did go to a meeting at the airport last week. Ray Burton flew in with Aeronautics Director Patrick Herlihy and New Hampshire DOT Commissioner Chris Clement showed up with his top man, and we sat down for about an hour and discussed the airport and funding, and they were very enthusiastically supportive of improving the runway, and especially pavement and lighting. And you know, I was really encouraged
That's great.
that, you know, I think they're going to put Plymouth at the top of the list for funding.
Yes, and as I think people may or may not be aware that because of Plymouth's location and that we do have an airport and we are a hub, we are frequently used as a landing site for the rescue helicopters that come out of Concord, and, you know, things that are going on in the White Mountains, Plymouth is what they use. So having it be, having a paved runway that can be accessed and plowed and maintained for winter use is a pretty important thing to be working toward.
Apparently, a lot of the newer planes have difficulty landing on grass strips, and there would be quite a lot more opportunity for planes to come in with a paved runway.
Al, did you have anything?
Yeah, referring to what Neil's talking about, the asphalt runway is not so much for the landing, it's actually for the takeoffs, the kind of planes that Neil's talking about, charter planes. There's a company out of Laconia that has 20 of these planes that not only will be bringing in cargo to this area, like a UPS Federal Express type service. They take these planes and they strip them of seats. Some of them have, they can hold 24 people, I believe. Some of them have seats set up for 12. Some of them are completely empty just to do cargo. We did have one come in several times and land on the grass airport. But taking off, we get a lot of drag when we're taking off. You know, asphalt airports obviously a lot faster for takeoff. So it gets them out of the ground. They are designed for these short strips. We have 1,750 feet out there. They can land at around 1,600 square feet. But with the asphalt, that gives them, that brings it down to about 1,400, especially for takeoff.
So what is it, the drag from the,
From the lawn, from the grass, yep, it takes you a little bit longer. And when you're talking 300 feet, you're talking seconds in liftoff. And Neil and I both monitor the radio. I mean, we were talking today how many times we hear them abort takeoffs down at our airport,
really?
because they're not getting enough airspeed by the uptime that they get.
Oh, it's an acceleration thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it just gets you off the ground a couple hundred feet sooner in the cornfield at the end. And also, we've had 3 opportunities over the last 2 years for hangars to come out there.
Yeah.
And they looked good until the person finally backed out, basically almost all 3 times on not having an asphalt runway. So it gives us an opportunity to get more revenue.
So it makes
And
business
we're
sense.
interested in coming back, should we go with the asphalt runway?
Can I just say something, Ted? So early on, I had a long conversation with Frank Miller, who stressed the importance of our airport and our region, and, you know, it's kind of nice to see that something might happen out there. Should funding be reinstated in that aeronautics
I think
fund?
this is a key issue.
Thank you. Oh, did you have
I
anything?
do not have anything, no.
Nor do I.
Nothing yet. School's just started.
All right, yeah, no, the students aren't back at PSU yet, but the CCC is going to get going again here soon. Okay, well, we still do have a few minutes before the public hearing starts. If anyone would like to take a brief break.
Do you want to take a break?
Oh,
I'll update the board on how we finished last year.
excellent. Thank you.
We actually did pretty good, better than we anticipated. I believe we're going to have a net $300,000 buffer to the good. That came with, we have to give what's called an MS for anticipated revenues versus expenses. And we were on that $3.8 million on the revenues. The revenues came in short, about $400,000, but the department heads turned back almost $700,000 in their budget. And that's the grants that you see them get. And it's not always a check cut to the town. If we're able to get some federal funding for training, we go for training and there is no cost. So you're not really seeing a monetary check cut to the town in that $300,000. But what the department heads do a good job of doing is they don't spend that line plus take the grant. They take the grant and they return that line. The other reason why you see it on the short end of $3,400,000, they make up for that. On the other end, had you seen $3.8 million, you probably would have only seen the department heads turn back $100,000 because they would have used that other money as offsets. So we had some grants that didn't come in, and again, the department heads don't spend that money on something else, which they could have, but they return that money. So kudos to the department head for turning back almost $700,000, and it looks like we've netted $300 to the good. That combined with the tax base going up $2 million, I want to see what's going to happen when we have a complete reval, which is going on at this particular time. Unfortunately, this was going to be a year with our new finance director that I thought we were going to get our taxes, our tax rates set early this year. But I can tell with the assessor that we're looking at the middle of October, I believe, before they finish.
Well, they'll be done in the middle.
If not the end of October. And we can't have our tax rate setting
Until
we have the
reassessing
new
is
reval.
completed.
When we enter the new budget season, hopefully if our tax rate remains the same or even actually comes down a little bit, which we have that opportunity, it looks like. I'd like us to concentrate this year more on capital and the infrastructure, which we haven't done for several years. We're going to stay in status quo with our operational lines and actually reduce the operational budget by $165,000 last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting into the danger zone of not making sure we're taking care of the infrastructure
Right.
in the future. So
And
we have to go department by department, the calendar that you handed out for the budget
Yep.
sessions over the next 4 to 5 months. I think that's going to change a little bit. I think we need to sit down with each department head and reconsider equipment and the structures that are on each particular property and take it from there.
Great.
Great.
What was the shortfall attributable to? In revenues? The 400?
You apply for a lot of these grants and you just don't,
Oh, I
you
see.
just don't get, you have to anticipate what you're going to go for when you're doing these Department of Revenue projections.
Mhm.
And they didn't all come in,
I
but
see.
we know that we've got a lot more money coming in on mitigation. The state of New Hampshire was declared a disaster on some of the rainstorms that we've had this past
Mhm.
year. So there's a lot of revenue out there. In regards to FEMA funds and more mitigation. So highways out with our town engineer looking at more roads that can be mitigated, which is why I want to concentrate on our capital budget, because there really is no mitigation that can take place within the village area. Mitigation's more on the back roads, and
Right.
we've been concentrating on the back roads for the last few years. So just start looking at the infrastructure within the village area.
Thank you, Paul.
That's about it.
Okay,
One
now,
minute.
1 minute to go.
Is that Verizon time?
The time is now 6:30, so this is an opening for a public hearing in accordance with RSA 41:14-A, acquisition or sale of land, buildings, or both. The Plymouth Select Board welcomes all present for this public hearing and wishes to explain what it is we intend to accomplish in accordance with the requirements of the RSA and in order to acquire the land and building located at 46 Highland Street. The requirement is that the Planning Board and Conservation Commission be notified and requested to make recommendations to the Select Board prior to holding this public hearing, which will be read into the record during the hearing. Having said that, the following is offered prior to taking public comment. The purpose of this public hearing is to take public comment regarding the acquisition of the property located at 46 Highland Street to be utilized by the Plymouth Fire and Police Departments as professional office space and rooms of residence for full-time employees. This building has been offered for sale by the owner and has been identified as being in a prime location that is adjacent to the fire department for an alternative solution to expending or bonding for a new facility for the fire and police departments. The board has identified that the use of this new building will eliminate the potential hazards associated with employees working 24-hour shifts within the station who have expressed concern with the cleanliness and fumes within the current facility. Further, the board believes that acquiring this property at a cost of $228,000 represents a substantial savings to taxpayers over the multi-million-dollar facility that has been sought in the past for new safety buildings and will provide a substantial benefit to our community. How we can afford this? The Select Board has called a special non-appropriation town meeting for Wednesday, September 25, 2013, to be held at the Plymouth Elementary School starting at 7 p.m. for the purpose of designating the members of the Select Board as agents to expend 2 capital reserve accounts that have previously been established and raised through taxation for the purpose of land, building, and maintenance. The total funds in these capital reserve accounts is at this time $248,000. The special non-appropriation town meeting held on Wednesday, September 25, 2013 will also include a third warrant article seeking to designate the selectmen as agents to expend a capital reserve account previously established and raised through taxation for the purpose of new dispatch equipment, and the total of that fund is $130,946. At this time, a second public hearing is going to be held on Monday, September 9, 2013, here at the Town Hall during the Select Board meeting and starting at 6:30 p.m. And following that public hearing, the Select Board plans to move forward with the special town meeting to allow the funds to be released within the 2013-2014 year. And at this point, I would like to read letters from the Conservation Commission and the Planning Board. From the Conservation Commission to the members of the Select Board. After a review of the information provided by the Select Board and holding an emergency meeting of the Plymouth Conservation Commission, minutes attached, regarding the request to acquire property known as 46 Highland Street, the Plymouth Conservation Commission is pleased to notify the Select Board that the Conservation Commission voted unanimously by poll vote to recommend that the Board of Selectmen move forward with the public hearings and purchase of the property known as 46 Highland Street. It is the belief of the members of the Conservation Commission that this acquisition is in the best interest of the community of Plymouth. As this emergency meeting was held via telephone conference call and posted as such, the Conservation Commission will reaffirm to the public this decision at their next regular scheduled meeting and will also note within those minutes the actions of the Commission. Next, from the Planning Board, also to the Select Board. At its last work session on August 1st, the Plymouth Planning Board reviewed your recent letter regarding the proposed purchase of the Boyle property, PID 108-110 on Highland Street as an expansion of the Plymouth Fire Department facility. The planning board voted unanimously to support the following motion. The planning board has reviewed the proposal presented to them by the Board of Selectmen in the town of Plymouth regarding the purchase of the Boyle property adjacent to the existing fire station, and they are in support of the Board of Selectmen's proposed actions to procure this property. Attached to this letter are the minutes of the August 1st, 2013 work session, which supports the Select Board efforts and process to purchase this property. So, and before we invite public comment to everyone here present, I would invite Chief Clogston to be the first member of the public to please come up and comment concerning this proposal.
Thank you. This whole process for replacing the fire station started back about 15 years ago. The building that we're in, I was told, was a 5-year temporary fix to the building that was currently where the parking lot is now. We've been in there for 44 years. Back when that building was built, we were doing 95 calls, and that was when you hired the first full-time fire chief. And we've grown since then. We've gone from 95 calls. In my years of service, we have been doing, at one point, we hit over 1,800 calls. Since then, we've put in numerous styles of bunk rooms and other assorted, trying to cram stuff into a small box. Each time we buy a new piece of apparatus, we have to come up with ways to make it fit. And currently, we have some trailers that are outside the facility that should be inside heated, but we just don't have the room for it. We've done things like purchase trailers to hold some of the equipment that we have, extra hose, training props, that type of stuff. With that, we have the people that are living there are sharing one bunk room that is adjacent to the furnace room. We've made some changes since I came on. We put a new roof on. We put some bay doors on, things that were needed. We were getting leaked on. We had mold issues. We've addressed that. What this project will do, and we've looked at it before, is, one, we've been told we need more land if we're going to build anything on that site in the future. And we only had half an acre. This did, like I said, come up once before about acquiring that property or other properties around us, but the cost came in a little bit higher than what we could justify spending for that. So we did tour the building. There's 4 bedrooms upstairs. It definitely will increase our space as far as living quarters, and make it a little more comfortable, giving us the opportunity to where the administration office is now. Potentially down the road, we could turn that into some bay space to put some of the trailers in there. So there's a lot of things good out of this, and it's going to increase the footprint so that potentially down the road, given a good, capital improvement plan, we can develop that property into a new modern facility. But we have to do something to get out of the condition that we're in, because at some point, we're just going to have, we're doing the best we can with what we have, and it's getting harder and harder to, keep the employees that we have. That's one of the biggest things, is you don't have to go very far to find, much better living quarters, meeting space and that type of stuff. So talking to, the guys about this, it's a shot in the arm. It's a positive step forward. It's not the perfect solution, but I think with the economy and thinking outside of the box, I think this is a definite step in the right direction, and I would hope that the taxpayers would join us in that and give you guys the permission to follow through with this purchase of the land.
Thank you, Casino. And I'd also invite Chief Lefebvre to come forward and speak on behalf of the police department.
The only thing I can add to what Casino said, in my portion of the money, is obviously there would be rooms in that house that the police department would utilize for meeting space, trainings, and or if I have an officer that's doing a short shift, in other words, they've worked a 16-hour shift, they only have 8 hours off and have to come back again, maybe some bunk space in there. So that's why we would be sharing that portion of the money. Also in doing so, I think, Mr. Sansucci, you'll remember, we all talked about the needs and who needed what, that the fire department actually had a greater need for building space and living quarters more so than the police department. So that's the other means, or the other reason why we're giving our portion towards that. So it would be shared use, and obviously he's got a greater need than the police department does.
Thank you. All right, and at this time, I would invite public comment concerning this and would ask that any members of the public who wish to speak come forward to the podium and identify yourselves. This is going to be a short public hearing.
I'm going to speak, I was just wanted to give other people
Okay.
the opportunity. Welcome.
Frank Miller. I'm definitely in favor of this. We've been quite a few years looking to try to rectify the situation at a fire department, and I believe this is money very well spent, and I believe the time is now. We definitely need to move forward and allow the police department, fire department to make good utilization of that structure, that property.
Thank you. Dr. Sansucci.
Paul Sansucci, Plymouth resident. I'm in favor of this, actually. I think it's really thinking out of the box for a change, and I'm glad it happened. I have some questions, however. Number one, why do we have to buy it now? I mean, right away. Why can't we wait till March at the normal town meeting and buy it? Is there a rush situation on it, or?
I'll let Mr. Freitas address that.
It's going on the market.
It's going on the market?
Mr. Boyer has granted us till September,
Okay,
exclusive forced rates.
yeah, okay, well, that kind of explains that. And do we have an overall plan for the entire site? I know we've done a number of them. I was just wondering, Paul, if we have some of the old ones laying around that,
You know, right now, the chiefs have been concentrating on what can we do with it as it is.
okay. No, I'm definitely in favor. I think it's a good move forward, and it's definitely needed. Thank you.
And I'd like to, just to add to that a little bit, you know, it's an idea that didn't just get dreamed up here in the select board. It's something that, you know, a number of citizens in the town, people who have been involved in watching our safety building projects over the last few years have said, wouldn't it be great if, and with the house becoming available and sufficient money already in our accounts to cover the purchase price without raising taxes a single penny, it certainly does seem like a way to go forward. Any additional public comment? Yes, Mr. Keefe.
It's going to start to sound like a broken record. Tim Keefe, town resident and past chair of the Public Safety Building Committee, and this was a building we had looked at when it was not available. And our decision, I think, at that time, as we looked at so many things, was you wait till the property is available, because otherwise, clearly, you're not in the best of a marketing position or negotiating position. So I certainly support this, and I know it was one of the buildings that we were excited about that was not available previously. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you.
Any further public comment? There being none, I would ask for a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so this public hearing is closed at 6:43 p.m. And the second hearing, as stated earlier, will be held on September 9, 2013 at 6:30 p.m. here at the Town Hall. Thank everybody very much for your attendance. And finally, I would ask, is there any public comment to close out our regular select board meeting? Being none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Bill and seconded by Mike. All those in favor? Aye. This meeting is adjourned.